So in this segment, I'm going to talk about two closely related emotions, emotions of disgust and shame. Both of these emotions, as with all other emotions, occur in a range. Disgust occurs in a range from disapproval at the lower end to disgust at the upper end, and shame occurs in a range from embarrassment at the lower end to full-blown shame at the upper end. As I'm talking about this, because these two emotions play such an important part in child development, and I'm going to give you a reference, a citation for a book that I recommend to all of my clients. It's an easy book to read and is profoundly important. It's called Adult Children of Emotionally Immature Parents. And all of my clients qualify for that. Sometimes their parents have been not only emotionally immature, but also traumatizing. But at the same time, the fact that a parent would traumatize a child reflects their emotional immaturity. The author is Lindsay Gibson. I strongly recommend you have a look at that book. So when I teach these two emotions to my clients, I use a visualization because it's very important that clients not feel disgust about themselves in learning about disgust, and that they not feel shame about themselves. So I've developed a simple little visualization. Uh, so in this visualization, I ask the client, we're going to start with disapproval disgust. I ask the client to just be aware of the saliva in their mouth. Now, then I point out that it's been there all night long and all morning long, and they haven't paid any attention to it. It's been neutral, benign. When they pay attention to it, it's still neutral or benign. And then I ask them to visualize putting some of that saliva into a clear plastic cup and then put it back in their mouth. And uniformly, people go, oh, or gross, or something like that. Gross is one of the words we humans use when we're feeling, to describe the feeling state of disgust. And the goal of this work is to help them experience the sensations. And so using the TheraTapper I've described before, I help them get the sensations of disgust, which is usually an uneasiness, a queasiness, or even a nausea in the stomach. Often there's a gagging in the throat and mouth, and then I help them install that. The nausea in my stomach and the gagging in my throat tells me I'm feeling disgust. Then I help them stay grounded and present using the grounding resource that we've discussed, that I've discussed in a different video in this sequence. And then I help them notice the emotion of disgust, and then I help them decrease it using usually a sink disposal, as an image of a sink disposal, as a way of decreasing the intensity of the emotion. So now we've set in my, and I always do a communication piece. I will say to the client, so what I'd like you to do is just repeat to me, say this to me, repeat these words, say, I feel disgust when, John, when you ask me to swallow some of my own saliva. Client says that, then I repeat that to them. This is the communication piece. It's called emotion-focused or emotion-based communication. I will repeat to the client, I totally hear you saying that you felt disgust when I asked you to visualize swallowing some of your own saliva. And then I'll ask, do you feel heard? And the client will say yes, and I'll say, how is that for you? And uniformly clients say, well, that's a first. Nobody ever does that. And this is the piece that emotionally mature parents would do. They would, when the kid comes home from school and says, they call me a name at school, the parents, the best parents, emotionally attuned parents will say, wow, that must have hurt. Tell me about it. And the child gets an opportunity to speak those emotions. In the next video, I'm going to talk about the related emotion of shame. And I hope that you watch these two videos together. Thank you.